pretty badass, man. I mean, that right there is the reason why I do it. Of my dad. You know, we're picking and choosing from the States, and when Corey gave me the call to come do this, I couldn't turn it up. And he's the reason I still do this, and I'll keep doing it until he doesn't want it.
There, ladies and make some noise. Your feature winner, Connor James.
Happy New Year, everybody. Cam K here with you on GeForce TV and on my own personal Facebook for right now. Unfortunately, we've already had some technical problems to start the new year with YouTube. Unfortunately, things didn't start up the way we were hoping. So it's not Race Rivals Race Chat episode 250. That is going to be this week with Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross. But so make sure you stay tuned into that if you haven't already. You're tuned into ONTrack Weekly, where we chat about Ontario short track racing on the asphalt side of things. I'm your host, Cam K. And I want to thank you for tuning in. And, we started off the show with a little bit of a tribute to someone we lost, unfortunately, during the Christmas break. And, it's when we got into this racing deal, it's only been we're only into it 5 years now. We got into it in 2020, and there wasn't a ton of people that we got to know right away. But I started off working in the Ontario Sportsman Series, and one of the names that I first met in 22 was Rob and Connor James, and at the time Connor's girlfriend. And Rob and Darlene James, if you haven't met them, just the passion and the love and the genuine care that they have for you, is unmatched. And I never really expected that when we got into this that people would be so receptive. But Rob saw something in myself, and I got to do a paint scheme reveal and a press release for Connor, and Rob what he loved the most about motorsports, not just that it was racing, but the fact that he could talk about about Connor, and he was a remarkable man. And I want people to remember that what his last kind of what he was working on behind the scenes. So if you guys know anything about SNS, we really try to assist our racers and try to help the racing community. What we get in funding, we try to put back into the racing community. And it was probably about 2 weeks prior to the start of December, and Rob messaged me out of kind of left field, and said he had kind of an idea that he wanted to, because of how good the racing community was and how good the sportsmanship was, that he wanted to sponsor 3 bone stock racers, and then would pay the podcast. Or I think he was going to sponsor, he was going to sponsor 2. Maybe it was 3. And then he was going to give, I think it was 2. And then he was going to give the podcast an additional, a bit of money. So what we did is I asked him, I said, well, is it possible then we could just, instead of us, the podcast, taking the money, could we put that towards an SNS racer getting a sponsorship? And he was absolutely all for it. And so his last bit of work that he was doing in the racing community was, I think the last kind of thing he did was award, of the 3, he was able to award one of those 3. And then we did our SNS live, and we were talking about doing Motorama, and we had an offer from one of our racing partners that he was going to have his 2 sons' cars at our booth, the podcasters booth for Motorama. And I said, I don't know whether that's doable or not. I said they may want us to get a bigger sized booth. They may want us to have to pay for it. And then during the live show, as I'm talking about this, I got a message on Messenger from Rob, and he said that he would give whatever it took, so that we could make that happen. And I'm getting emotional about it because it was, I guess I put it as Rob has a very hard exterior. He's very passionate and opinionated, and spoke his mind, but I think everybody knew underneath was that heart of gold, and we got to experience that, and we weren't asking. I wasn't asking for anybody to do anything, and he said, that he wanted everybody to see as many eyes as possible, and wanted to help make our podcast as big as it could possibly be. And he wanted to make that happen for us. And it sucks. It does. It sucks when you get into a racing community, you get into a family, and that's everybody. We talk about it. Connor's been part of the SNS racing family for 4 years, off and on, but of our 5 years, we're going into our 5th year. He's been a part of almost every season. 3's more, he'd be going into his 4th, but So he's always been a part of it, and I reached out to Connor, uh, and when just offering support, and then he had mentioned how much his dad really liked what we do and really loved us, and uh, it is difficult to see that. It's difficult for being part of OSS for the last couple of years, and of course they have been really involved with OSS the last couple of seasons, and we knew he wasn't, and I've been having some health problems, but uh, you know, the way I look at it is that God is good. As hard as it is that he was taken, he got to see he got to see Connor win a championship again. And he got to be on vacation with family before, and it stings, and uh, I feel for everybody around him, Chelsea, Paul, Connor, and especially Darlene, their entire family, and people on the that were closest to them. We only knew them a couple of years, but that's all you really took. You didn't take long to get to love them, and unfortunately, it was just it was tough to read. It was tough to see, and I don't know if we're going to see them at the track this year, but if we do, there's going to be some big hugs for Darlene, and for Connor, and Chelsea, and the whole family. I'm gonna miss him. I'm never gonna forget that his last kind of deal with us was that he was gonna try and help us out with Motorama, and was willing to just put money down and help support bone stock racers. Didn't matter who they were, where they came from, what track. He was gonna help them, and it just goes to show the person. And that was the toughest part about today's show, was talking about that. Godspeed, as Pop said. Godspeed, Rob. Rob James, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for encouraging, and thank you for what you did for the racing community for so many years, and for being a part of OSS, and being a part of SNS, being a big supporter of ours. And we're gonna have number 4 across some cars this year, and likely with SNS, we'll be carrying the 4 along with us as well, as a tribute. So I think we can probably work together on that, and see if we can come up with a nice memorial or tribute. Daco, as long as they're okay with it. While we did have that sad news, we did also get some confirmations on our 2025 racing season. Schedules are starting to come out. We're almost there, everybody. We're just a little. We're okay. We have a couple of tracks that we know kind of where the trajectory is going. So right now, Sauble Speedway, I've been able to communicate with them. And what I'd like to do is go over kind of our schedule that we have. I've compilated every schedule that I believe we've got so far. However, we are missing a couple of events. Sunset's latest event, I have not added that yet. And then we do not have Sobel's schedule yet. They are still confirming some stuff, but it is coming soon. So I do have confirmation about that. That is coming soon. It is. They were just waiting for confirmation on a couple of dates. So keep your eyes peeled for Sobel Speedway. It is going to be coming very soon. Sunset Speedway, I think that's the same situation. I believe they're waiting for some confirmations to be done, and then their schedule will come out. Now, we did get some confirmations. Peterborough, Jim Clark at Peterborough Speedway has confirmed that their schedule will be released at Motorama. So if you're looking for Peterborough's schedule, you are not going to get that until Motorama, which is in March. Of course, March break typically is when you're going to see Motorama. S&S is planning on being there. Media is planning on being there. I see Scott Pro. Calpro Motorsports going to be there. Rich Schwarzenberg is planning on being there from Only Fours. Wide World of Motorsports. True North Racing Podcast is planning on being there. So there is going to be some pretty good representation once again. We've got a lot of races to get to, a lot of series to talk about. We can get to that. We're hoping to have some guests on this program to talk about some of those racing divisions moving into the 2025 calendar year. We have so Scott, send me a DM so I can get your information, because we can potentially add you for the podcasters booth or the media booth. But I just need some of the information from you, so just make sure you DM me after the show, because I've been in contact with Motorama's people being part of this group. So just let me know. So I've compiled all the schedules into one, which is what we've got so far. Okay, now there are some dates that have been added in here because we've already been made aware of some calendar events that are for traveling series and or some special events, like in the case of Sunset that they've already announced. The only one that is not in there is their most latest 50 lapper for hot rods and modifieds. That is not a part of this schedule yet, so just bear in mind that that will be added at a later time. I prefer to do all the calendar together at one instead of individual shots, but so there's definitely going to be opportunities to add to this. For myself, it just makes it easier to plan, having all the schedule for every track and every traveling division in one. As of right now, my only confirmed that I was like, there's no way I'm missing this. NASCAR Canada, June 21st, at Sunset Speedway. I'm really excited to see what companion event is going to be with them. I really hope NASCAR allows Sunset, or if at least Sunset has some of that flexibility to put some of their local racing with the NASCAR Canada series, because to me, that is what needs to be a part of it. Personally, I like the mini stocks. I think that they offer a lot of fun. I know super stocks typically have gotten a bit of the rub. You're not going to see late models. That's not going to happen. Maybe hot rods, because if there's a crowd that definitely likes some hot rods, it's definitely going to be there. As for Weekend Speedway, Scott, I don't know if I'm going to World of Outlaws right yet. It just like I have a very full schedule as well, just like yourself. But I'm toying with that idea. It just is around there. I don't think Calvin says anyone but Bones is fine for me. Is that because you don't want to race because you want to catch the NASCAR race, or you'd rather just be away for that weekend? So I've said it time and time again, I still believe Ontario Sportsman Series is the way to go. But I can understand NASCAR not really wanting that. I still think you've got to have that's the way it was, man. When CASCAR had the CarQuest series, and then it was the PowerWater series, then it was OSS, and I just love that having the same type of cars there. I mean, you split it, do a 50 lapper instead of a 100 lapper for the OSS cars before the NASCAR Pinty's race, NASCAR Canada Series race. But I can understand that they probably wouldn't want to do that. So if it's a 200 lapper, throw some hot rods on there for 25 laps. That's probably going to be, based on the early looks, if they can plan it. Now we'll take a look at the extended schedule for everything in just a little bit, so I can actually make some confirmations here. But if Oscar is off, I don't know how you don't do the hot rods. I think that needs to be the case. We also do have some confirmations as well that there is some change here that is happening with the sprint car, or the pro sprints at Varney. So Paul has confirmed on social media that the pro sprints are not back because they're traveling. Now, so far, I have yet to see a track that they are going to be racing at. I don't know if they've made any sort of announcement. But pro sprints moving to a traveling deal. With that as well, there has been a new division created for the Hooligan Hurricanes, which is almost a sub, I guess, division of midget car racing based off of Outlaw Midgets, run by Rob Hooligan Harrison. He said right now, I think they're looking at 10 to 12 cars potentially. So there could be some impact on the Outlaw Midget circuit because of that. So we're seeing kind of another subdivision of racing there. Now, as far as I know, Hooligan Hurricanes are, I believe, only at Varney scheduled right now. He is working with some other tracks right now to see whether or not they can get some confirmation of some scheduled dates there. So that'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with the Hooligan Hurricanes this year. I know it was something he's been working on for the last couple of seasons. So there is definitely something to that. The plans right now for myself are to stick to my local 3, which is, Flamborough is not really local, but it's one that I love. Right now, Peterborough and Sunset, because those are tracks that we're partnered with. Graydon is covering Sawbull Speedway, which is also a partner of ours. Oshwegan Speedway is another partner of ours, and we definitely want to get out there. So if the opportunity does arise to be out there for World of Outlaws, I just might take that opportunity. Because this is an event, for me, I would really have... this is kind of where... Would I want to go to see World of Outlaws? Yes, but I watch every week the regular racers out at Oshwegan Speedway, so it would kind of be a bit of a... I wouldn't say it wouldn't feel the same for me because it's something completely different. I don't know any of the racers in World of Outlaws. I would much rather see the Thunder Stocks and the Mini Stocks because those are my favorite divisions out at and even the Crate Sprints because of Cam Thompson, Connor Ross being part of that, S&S Racers. And that's what a lot of the racing for me, means the most is people that are involved with our program. But let's take a look at everything that we've got put together so far because it is very extensive. There's a lot of different divisions. Some of these nights are really busy, and it will be very interesting to see. Oh, Dan Price and Corey Halbert will be there. Awesome. So let's get this put up on the screen here. Hopefully I've got the right screen set up. I don't know if I do yet. So let's just see here. No. Okay. So let's get this one up here, and I'm going to just move this over to that screen. Get a nice, beautiful look at the pits in Sunset Speedway. All right, so let's take a quick look here at our Ontario racing calendar for 2025. So, as you can see, this is just the start of what we've got so far. So Flamborough released their schedule right in time for Christmas, which is perfect. First off, we talked with some drivers in this off season. They did 36 races last year for the Pure Stocks at Flamborough Speedway. Now, by all accounts, Spencer Riddell is in this chat. He can confirm, but I believe the total may be 42 nights that they're scheduled for this year. I hope I'm not making that up, but if that's insane, if that's the case, it's insane. We have to remember the NASCAR Cup Series doesn't do more than 36 races a year. 22 nights. So 20 so it's 20 double features. Okay. So 42 races. Yikes. Or 20 I've got mixed information in the chat here. I've got 22 nights with double features or 22 nights and 20 double features. So it's either 40 or 42. Either way, so Gold Rush and Frosttoberfest, I need to get people's opinions on this. Because when we look at, say, Sunset Speedways, I believe they had something like 12 to 16. I think they had a couple of rainouts, but like 16 races seems like a lot. But then you go, you throw 42 races into summertime. The thing is, they did this last year. They had 36 races, and they really didn't lose car counts. You got to give it to the Flamborough faithful because they showed up. Now, as of right now, Flamborough is what we have starting on May 3rd. So for Pops, I'm going to make this a little bit more bigger than what I've got here, just for you, my man. All right. So I've got May 3rd as the starting date right now. Justin Collison here breaking down some information as well. This is why we're going to only have 5 races for the Steel City Rumble Series. Guys can still have an outside family life and still race for a championship. 1,000% Justin Collison. I'm really excited to see this Steel City Rumble Series. I've already told the boys at Herniac Hall that they are doing it. So I don't know whether they actually are or not, but I've told them they are. And especially with the super stocks, they need limited races right now. It's about building those weekly numbers. It's not a cumulative total. Not a cumulative total. It is make it so that it's just enough. And I think with super stocks, that's just enough. Now, Spencer, you mentioned that you think it's too many nights, especially if you want to travel and support some other tracks. Now, I don't know how this works, but what if they are allowed to do, which I believe Delaware allows, are you not allowed to have a mulligan where you can take 2 nights or a night off or whatever, something along the lines? Because I know that there's certain divisions where you can have somebody run your number instead. No, eh? Yeah, I think that's a little bit tough. Unless you're winning like 10 grand for the championship, I really don't know if that's worth it. Again, I can't really crap on it because I love the fact that you guys get to do that many races. Justin Collison says he's working on releasing some more details next week. Going to be very cool deal, which is great to see, Justin. And we need to support Flamborough. I've said it again and again, man. Justin Collison has done an amazing job trying to get the super stocks back on the card, and the fact that they're going to be there, and if you didn't see already, they're also on Frosttoberfest. Again, already confirmed on it. That's a great thing. So Justin definitely deserves some props for that. We go back to our starting of the calendar. Of course, we're going to be working on this for the next couple of weeks, so don't worry about that. But all right, May 3rd, Flamborough Speedway. This is what we've got on our schedule so far. With late models, CVMs, mini stocks, and pure stocks to start off the season. Now, I believe as of right now, you've got Sunset and May 10th. Now, May 10th has already been changed. So I had to update this anyways, but May 10th, Bandoleros have been scrapped from that date. Dawson Drimmy did make a post about this. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for the Ontario Bandoleros at Sunset. I believe he's scheduled it for the 24th. So that's where that is going to be. Delaware Speedway is starting up on May 9th. As of right now, we have Sunset on May 10th. I think they might start the week earlier. That typically is when they do start. The only reason why I think they might be starting on the 10th is because APC is there on the 17th. And normally, if I'm not mistaken, they're normally the week after the season opener, but I could be wrong on that. Full Throttle, something else to confirm with Full Throttle. They are going to have 3 Ontario Sportsman Series dates in 2025. So there was a little bit of a mix-up with the Ontario Sportsman Series. So the original schedule that they had posted did have some incorrect information on it, and they're going to have some switch-arounds with their dates. Peterborough's date is going to be changed, as is that Full Throttle date. So right now they're scheduled to have 2 Varney dates. There was the original second race of the season, and then I believe it would have been 6th or 7th. Peterborough typically follows Delaware for the Ontario Sportsman Series. Now what's going to happen is those are going to flip, if I'm not mistaken, and Flamborough will still stay where it is. However, after Flamborough is actually not going to be a second Sauble race. There's only going to be one Sauble race for the Ontario Sportsman Series this year, and instead of a second Sauble race, that will be the 3rd Varney race. So as of right now, 3 Varneys for the Ontario Sportsman Series, the second race of the season and the penultimate race of the season, with one right in the middle. So why is that beneficial to the Ontario Sportsman Series? Well, they have a great fan base at Varney that is very supportive of the Ontario Sportsman Series. What that does really well for them as well is that does give a local car like Tim Tolton, that gives them the opportunity to make a couple more events. Typically, they're not able to do that. And there's a really big presence of fans there that go and support not just OSS, but especially that 3 car. So that is a benefit to having them out there. If you do go to those 3 events, you're downright going to see something crazy, because that always is the case when they do go to Varney. Tolton's typically a front runner. I'd say if he's back this year, I don't actually know yet, but Ollie Ferguson ran really well there last year. So did Brendan Patrick. Corey McAllister, by all accounts, is not back next year. I don't think Connor James is either. So it is wide open for who potentially could go up there and win. Kevin Trevlin's done very well there. Chad McGlynn has won there. Sean McGlynn has won there. So there's a lot of potentials as we head into next year for OSS. So there's been some schedule changes that way. Now, if we head back to what we've got here, we have the official full schedules. Now, I will admit Flambros is a little difficult to follow, only because of the font that they used. It looks great, but just for recording, it was a little bit difficult. So, as you see, we are stocked with lots of great stuff. Highlight-wise, I still think this is this one here, this May 24. This is a pretty stocked Flamborough event. The one, almost like the one day that the pure stocks are not racing, it's Ontario Pro Challenge with the Steel City Super Stocks, late models, and the mini stocks. Another one, if you take a look, a very stacked night out here at Full Throttle on May 17th, junior late model, mini trucks, bone stocks, thunder trucks, street stocks, and I'm trying to crazy trains. So again, quantity does not always mean it's the best night. If you take a look, something like Grand Bend has all these divisions here this year. Now, Grand Bend is really trying this year, guys, and I'm not trying to crap on them at all. Not the intention here. But to me, they are putting in one hell of an effort to try and get either more attendance, people to come on in. It is extremely important to see a track really kind of giving as much as they can. They have a 1 mile track that they're going to run this year. They have the Cobra Tire Cup Series that they're putting on. They have the Great Lake Legends going to them. They're going to run the road course at Grand Bend. They have go-karts being an official championship this year. And on top of that, it would appear that they have 2 sprint divisions this year. So rookie sprints and junior sprints. All the power to them. This is exactly what you want to do. You want to have people that are putting in whatever they can to try and get people to go to the racetrack. What I would throw people in and say, take your bone stock to Grand Bend, especially if you're having trouble. Because based off of the experience, you're not going to be out there with 15 to 20 bone stocks. You'll have a couple out there, and it is extremely extremely fun for people to go out and try a track that they haven't been before. I understand that everybody wants to go and be in the big show at Delaware Speedway or to run with all the guys at Flamborough. But if you have an off night, go and run at this track. I mean, we saw Chris Lawrence do it a couple of times. You have to experience it. Like I said, you're not going to have 15 to 20 cars there. It is really going to be a great opportunity to get people laps and experience. So Carter Nickel won the championship last year. Now Carter Nickel has the opportunity now to move up, and I think that's the way to go about it. I like the way that Nickel Motorsports went and did this, because what they've done is that he's turned laps. He won a championship. Yes, competition level wasn't where he probably wanted it, But I think what Grand Bend offers, it offers Delaware, it offers Sauble, really it offers a lot of people an opportunity to just go and run laps. Now, why Grand Bend is so good, look at the names that have come out of that place. McNichol, Wilds, Ellis, Zimick, Culver, countless. I think Freiberger was out of there. It's all NASCAR run now. It was a NASCAR home track. But what are their payouts like? I couldn't tell you, Nicole. I don't actually know. But what I would suggest is people go and give it a shot. I know they've got some young kids like Lucas Chapman has run there. Hannah Hamilton runs there. Ryan McNichol runs there. I know this year Darren Glavin is going to run. In the past, Randy and Kara Martin have run in their bone stock division. We've seen Adam Generu run out there. David Rockwood and again, for somebody like Carter Nickel running against a David Rockwood, that's not an easy guy to race with. He's a really good racer. You're not running against a guy that's never run before. So you have to be on the wheel and you can learn. And that's when we had Carter Nickel on the SNS podcast. It's exactly what he talked about, is getting to run with somebody like David Rockwood and learn from him in a professional racing situation, not just a practice. Yeah, Hannah Lamont's another one. She ran out there all the time. Can anyone confirm the purse for the 1 mile race for bone stocks? I haven't had any luck. I'm not sure. I thought that was on the poster, Rich, but I could be wrong. So what they have to do this year is continue to keep that updated. Keep people aware. That's what's really important. Be on the social media as much as possible. This is for the tracks, especially like we're talking about. You've got people asking a lot of questions. Now, I'm not sure about the 1 mile race, Rich, but again, this is all NASCAR home track stuff. So I don't know if, because that's an invitational, I don't know if that's run by the track or if it's by the NASCAR payout. But I think if they're going to try this, why not? Now, they do have if you want to take a look, go to Grand Bend's Facebook page. Actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about like this, like right now, like I don't have it open. What we can do is we can actually do that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go right to Grand Bend's page. They actually posted a lap on what they're going to be running on this 1 mile. The Corn Cob Classic is what they're calling it. And the best thing about this too, if you haven't raced at Grand Bend, they live stream their races on their Facebook page. Very rarely do they have any technical glitches. I've watched a couple of their races, specifically the junior sprint cars. They have, for the most part, they have Chris Sayers. What's his name? Chris Soares from Rogers TV. Typically is doing the play-by-play. Does a great job. They do the interviews on the front stretch, and you can hear them. The drivers do their interviews and everything. So you get a little bit more for your sponsors getting to be in an opportunity like this. Yes, it's not on Rogers TV or it's not on G-Force, but this is an opportunity to get out there. So the Invitational Bone Stock is 40 laps, okay, on the 1 mile track. They've got a hot rod, 67, sportsman / super stocks for 77, and the late models for 100. This is 4 races on the half mile tri-oval. Corn Cob Classic live streaming. Now, let's take a quick look. This is their 1 mile. They call it a hybrid oval. Now, it looks It looks a little tight, but for bone stocks, definitely could be doable. Okay, Graham Ben will be streaming it. Okay, perfect. I'm just saying this is something that people don't get the opportunity to do, and the fans don't get the opportunity to see something like this. So, aside from the Seagulls, it's I think it's completely flat there, guys. But this could be definitely an opportunity to do something very, very fun there, and I'll give them credit, guys. Like, the lap around the 1 mile track was done with Gord in their Hummer. So Tim tells us, like, again, that's a big car. So I mean, big vehicle. So I mean, that would be kind of cool to see people go out there and give it a shot. I mean, I like the opportunity because it's something fresh, it's something new. Um, even so, perfect example, say Black Magic Racing wants to take their bone stocks, go to Grand Bend. They could also, in theory, take their OSS car and run as well. It is remarkable. Honestly, it is I like the idea. It is something that they are going and trying to bring some attention to their track. The problem is that every time that we do something new and people try, people always find ways to crap on it. I completely understand being skeptical of situations like this, but we are in this day and age where we should be trying to be supportive, is whatever you can do to be out there on the racetrack. I personally think it's a really cool concept. I like the idea of having different types of cars out there. Hell, Ryan Cowan just mentions he would need the pole, then his car is as wide as the Hummer, could block up the whole race. That's a great idea. I would love to see him pull on that Pontiac around that racetrack. Greg Duncan says, not sure how I'd feel on that track. Well, give it a shot. I mean, I tell you, the guys that race at Varney, you guys have it pretty tight, and y'all may be able to get around there without wadding everything up as well. So, swapping on my transitions so you can practice shifting. That might be, that in itself, Spencer, might be the biggest problem is the shifting. And we don't want people to be going through transmissions left, right, and center. But at the end of the day, like I said, I like the idea. If you do stay on their Facebook page, you are able to see that they have some of their live streams on the page, which is great. I mean, it gives you the opportunity to go back and watch the racing. I do think that what I would recommend to them is if they're live streaming, get that stream on YouTube as well, so that because Facebook tends to delete live streams, make sure that you go out there and do it. I think you're going to see BT Racing in a big capacity out at Grand Bend this year. I know Chris is really going out there and trying to be supportive. Now, again, it's not a 1 mile super speedway. I mean, they're promoting it like a super speedway. It's not really a super speedway when you think about kind of the way that we do it. Are you kidding me, Tim? Tim Tolton says Varney was originally that narrow. It's been widened twice. Oh, man. That's fantastic. Yeah, and Varney still looks tight. So the thing is that Varney doesn't have the runoff room, right? So here you can run off and you get into the grass. I don't think in Varney, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you've got runoff room there. You might end up in the stands if you go off the runway there. But what I really want to say is thank you to the company, the people that are putting the stuff on, because it makes it really, really interesting. Used to have no back wall. What? Yeah, you would definitely end up. You'd definitely end up somewhere else. Varning his wall is something to watch. We talked about the pure stock races that are taking place at Flamborough this year, but once again, up there with the bone stocks is going to be the. Oh, perfect. So thanks for Captain Chris Lawrence here for providing more information for me on Grand Bend, and he knows a little bit more because he's raced there. Chris does mention that Grand Bend stream is actually on Flow Racing as well because it's NASCAR sanctioned. Checkered Flag Media, I believe, posts them as well. So you have a lot of options if you do have, if you do want to go out there. And like I said, just go out there and get the opportunity to race your car there on an off weekend. Take a trip down there. They've got lots of stuff to do. They do have the go-karts as well. And I think we'll try and get Gord potentially on the program at some point to chat. Kevin Travelin, buddy, you've got cars galore. Take your OSS car and run it on the 1 mile there, buddy. Just don't burn the transmission up in it, okay? I really appreciate everybody coming in. I know we had a little bit of tech problems once again. We're just getting back into the swing of things for 2025. If you haven't already, make sure you go and check out GeForce TV, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure that you go and check out Stickers and Scuffs. We've got Andrea Clark from Full Throttle Motor Speedway's Street Stock division for Clark Racing, second in the Street Stock Championship. She's going to be on this week for our Ladies of the Oval Month, presented by Muskoka Jet Ski Rentals and Mighty Wipes, two companies that do have lady bosses in charge. So we definitely have to have some ladies on the show with these products and brands presented by ladies. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. We've had a really good audience, and unfortunately, as we're reaching the end of this episode, it's really actually grown to a really strong audience. So I really want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. That does help us on Facebook. It helps us on YouTube. And definitely come back for Race Rivals Race Chat tomorrow with Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffries. They return for episode 200, and I believe it's episode 250 next week, or maybe 251. As they come back from their holidays, we definitely have a lot of stuff coming up in ONTrack Weekly. We're going to try, like I said, and have some conversations. Chili is for eating, not for watching. No, I'm just kidding, Spencer. I expect you're going to see a lot of Chili Bowl talk tomorrow. That's the go-to for everybody. We're here, and then the reason, like I said, the reason why I don't talk about that stuff is that Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey, that's their deal. They know how to talk about that stuff. I am complete novice when it comes to dirt racing, so I'll let them talk about that stuff. I got lots of stuff to talk about still here. Lots of information still to go. We didn't even get started really with the schedule. We just got the first couple of weeks going. Start talking about Grand Bend. Start talking about other great divisions that we can look forward to. OSS changes in their schedule. Make sure you go and support us on Facebook. ONTrack Weekly. We do have a Facebook page. And of course, share. That helps us out the most. We really are excited for 2025. Lots of great stuff happening. Lots of great people to talk with. We got Motorama coming up. Did get some confirmation from Motorama as well. We're going to be on stage, so we'll be looking for people to racers for interviews for, I believe, all 3 days. So if you're coming down to Motorama and you want to do a little bit of a show on the stage with me, we can do that. We'll definitely want to be excited to talk about the 2025 racing season with you guys. And of course, like I said, definitely go out there and support, and especially with here on GeForce TV, we'll be ready for a full season slate of racing. We're looking forward to being out at Peterborough Speedway Sunset Speedway, Flamborough Speedway, hopefully a trip up to Sauble Speedway, North Shwekan Speedway. I would love it to make it down to Delaware Speedway. It might just have to be something that I'd have to find somebody to take the truck down with me and back. We definitely try and find it one day to get it down there, because I definitely want to go and see our Delaware crew of racers. They definitely deserve it. So we want to get out there. 1 mile is at Link. It's at Grand Bend. So thank you for everybody that's been sending me messages during the show. I can't read them, but I appreciate it. And you know what? We're really excited to be back, and we'll chat with you guys all next week here on ONTrack Weekly. But let's just do it one more time for the man himself. Let's just remember our man, Rob James, and let's throw out that tribute just one more time.
Yeah, it's pretty badass, man. I mean, that right there is the reason why I do it. Of my dad. You know, we're picking and choosing for the States, and when Corey gave me the call to come do this, I couldn't turn it up. And he's the reason I still do this, and I'll keep doing it till he doesn't want to.
There, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Your feature winner, Connor James.
Look.